Hey, it's Tom Feely again, and this is Tom's Tall Tales and True Stories, and welcome. I'm really happy that you're going to hear this very special edition of my podcast. I'm here at a place that changed my life, and that's what these stories are about, by the way. All the stories that I'm telling you about my life or other people's lives are stories about things that happened in their life that impacted them in a monumental way. And this story is one that incredibly changed my life. And it was without any planning. It was purely luck, good luck. in a way, and purely accidental. So it happened here on this lake, and I believe the date would be in the 1983, and I'm thinking it's about this time of year. Well, actually, I know. It was the July 4th weekend. So right now it's May 29th here in 2026. So I'm going back a few years to July 4th weekend of 1983. And I was camping with my wife and 3 of my sons on a lake north of Park Rapids, Minnesota, a lake called Potato Lake. Don't know why they picked that spot, but they had a nice campgrounds, and I was able to reserve a spot there, and it was very nice. And Potato Lake was pretty cool, great fishing. So one morning, we woke up early on Saturday and decided to take a boat ride, to go exploring. We wanted to see more of the area, and we did that. So we put the boys. And now the boys I'm referring to is the oldest son, really at that point, the second oldest son, Jay Feely. We didn't bring Michael because now at this point in his life, he's in a nursing facility for children of his disabilities. So we came here to get away and enjoy the weekend with Jay and John and Ryan, the 3 younger brothers to Michael. And Ryan, the youngest, at that point was not quite a year old. He was born in August, so this was just shy of August, July 4th. And so he was probably around 11 months, maybe a little less, a few days less than 11 months old. And one thing that we had learned about Ryan early on was that he was a climber. He was a climb, explore, everything. And we had to, make sure he didn't get in trouble. One day I came out and found him up in a tree, and I had to bring him down. He was quite high in that tree. So he was a climber. And so on our boat, which wasn't this boat, it was a small bass boat, and the make was Tuffy. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it was a nice flat, typical 16-foot bass boat. And we put him in there, and we took his crib that he was slept in the night before and put it in the boat. It fit perfectly. It was a wooden crib, and we flipped it upside down so that it created like a cage. And that was to protect him because we didn't want him falling overboard into the lake, So, it worked really well. And he actually kind of liked it. He liked to use the bars above him, which would be the floor of the crib if it were not upside down. And he used those like monkey bars, and he would just go back and forth on the monkey bars. He was incredibly strong for his age. So we went exploring, and we came across a stream, and me, in the exploring mood, thought, let's check out that stream and see where it takes us. And so we did. Let me turn the camera around for a second so that you can see the creek I'm talking about. This creek, or little stream, is the opening to the next connecting lake called Eagle Lake. So we really came through this stream and through those rocks you see there, little opening, and into this lake called Eagle Lake. I hope you can see it here. This is my heaven. This is what I call it, my heaven. Now, it doesn't look like much right now. It looks like a fairly ordinary lake. But I'm going to take you to Eagle Bay Lodge. And that's where we ended up landing. What you're looking at is a nearby resort called Eagle Beach. And it is a beautiful resort with great beaches. So that's where we landed, and when we came out on this stream. By the way, that stream is really good fishing. So let me pull up our anchor. You give me 1 minute to do that so we can take off. Oh, it's going to be kind of hard. Oh, shit. Okay. It wasn't as easy I was expecting, but I got it up. Okay, so now we're going to turn this boat around and start heading across the lake like we did that morning on July 4th of 1983. Just bear with me, if you would. It's actually a beautiful night tonight. Not a lot of wind, so the lake is pretty calm. It's about 7 p.m., but the sun is pretty high. Like I said, this is May 29th, so we're getting pretty close to June. Still spring, but the leaves have started to really sprout out on the trees here. The weather's warmed up. It was a beautiful day today in the 80s up here, which is wonderful. They go through an extremely cold winter up here in northern Minnesota. Just so you know where we are, if you followed the Mississippi River on the U.S. map and you followed that river to its origin, that origin is of the Mississippi River is on Itasca State Park. It comes out, the Mississippi River starts as a little tiny stream that comes out of Itasca State Park, or Itasca Lake, and then actually heads north. And it heads north to a town, or actually it's a city called Bemidji, Minnesota. And then it leads into Lake Bemidji. Now, that lake from Itasca State Park is almost due north, about, I'm guessing around 30 miles or so. So it goes quite a ways north before it gets into the lake. And then when it exits the Lake Bemidji, it starts its journey south. And as you know, everyone knows, it takes its way down the middle of the country. A lot of other major rivers feed into it, and making it larger and larger as it goes, and then it ends up down in New Orleans. So that's the Mississippi. When you drive up here, you pass the Mississippi about 8 to 10 times. And each time as you're going north, the Mississippi River gets smaller and smaller till you get up here where it's basically just a stream. So that lake, Lake Itasca, is about, I'm going to say, 10 miles north of here. So that could give you, if you looked at a map, an idea of where we are. So we're in northern Minnesota. Actually, it would be northwest Minnesota. And quite frankly, it gets very, very, very cold up here in the winter. I was up here one time with my brother, Dan, and his wife, Mo, and a friend of theirs, and we were here in the middle of winter to snowmobile. And we had never come up this far north in the winter, and we brought our brand new snowmobiles with us. And so we got here, and it was, I believe, 40 below zero. We didn't have any thermometers, so we weren't really sure. But the next morning when we got up, I heard on the radio that it was 50 below zero in the morning by dawn. And that was the day we were going to go snowmobiling all day long. And we did. Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, it was the coldest I've ever been in my life. We went from this lake to the next lake to the next lake, and all around this area, sometimes on land, sometimes by lake. The lakes, of course, were frozen solid. No worries about going through. It was way too cold for that. So we spent the day snowmobiling, but by the time we started heading back to our little cabin, where I'm about to show you, it got to be evening. I was probably as close to hypothermic as I've ever been. It was the coldest I've ever been. We were going 40 to 50 miles an hour on the snowmobiles. Oh, and it was 50 below zero that day. So I can't imagine what the actual wind chill was. There probably was wind as well, which might have entered into that. But even if there was no wind, going 50 miles an hour and 50 below makes that wind chill incredibly cold. So that experience really kind of perpetuated the move that we made as a family 6 months later to move to Tampa, Florida. That was the inspiring event that got us to think, hey, why do we live here? It's so cold. But then when you're in the spring like now, and it's gorgeous and wonderful, then you say, why would I live anywhere else but here? So I kind of found the best of both worlds. I love living in Tampa. It's wonderful there, gorgeous, we love it. But I love being up here in the summer. Now, you're seeing me wave because a ski boat just went by and made some waves. So I'm heading now in the direction of where I was on that day, July the 4th, Saturday morning. And we were heading on this lake, just exploring. And when I got close, we were still in the middle of the lake, and Ryan was really having a ball, just doing his monkey bar thing in the cage. And the boat was a low to the water boat. It was a bass boat. So that crib that we flipped upside down to create a cage for him was up high enough so it could be easily seen by anybody on the shore. All right, so we're getting close now to where we started seeing some people on the docks here at this other place that had a bunch of cabins, and the people were like pointing at us. And I'm thinking to myself, why are these people pointing at us? we're just a normal family taking a boat ride. But they were like obviously very tuned into what we were doing and talking about it. I couldn't hear what they were saying, but they were definitely interested in us. So I steered the boat towards them out of just sheer curiosity. So let me stop and put the boat in neutral for a second so I can show you what we were looking at. Okay, I'm going to flip this around, excuse it. And this is the place that we discovered. Some of those homes you see there replaced the old cabins that were there at the time in '83. So like the real big one you see is sticking out was really a small cabin at that time. The others pretty much look like what they were, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a whole flock of birds up there. I'm not sure if those are eagles or geese. They could be Canadian geese. So anyway, see those boats over there? Hoping you can see that. Those boats are where the docks were when we arrived in 1983, with people on the docks looking at us. So I'm going to leave this camera kind of like this, and I'll keep talking and explaining what happened. So as we were driving by and seeing these folks on the dock who were fascinated with us for some reason, sorry about the waves, we drove over to them, and what they told us, I heard, the first thing I heard was the phrase, "Oh my God, it's a human." What are you talking about? Well, they were referring to Ryan, who was doing his monkey bars thing. And they explained to us later, they thought that Ryan was a monkey from far away. He looked like a monkey to them. And that made us all laugh hysterically. And so we instantly bonded. The family that was there was the Kosarics, Ed and Julie, and Linda and Bob Kern, and I can't remember who else, but there was probably 2 or 3 others. And they were there because they were looking at this place as a potential purchase. Apparently, this resort was in distress financially, and so it was for sale, and it was at a really bargain basement sale price, even for those days. Now, in 1983, the taxes, excuse me, not the taxes, the interest rates were very high. I mean, very high. So, just getting a loan was like way too expensive. But they started showing us around. There were cabins that were still for sale. Some had been sold already, and some were still there. And it was all part of this resort. So you were not just buying a cabin, you were buying into the resort to be one of the owners of the resort. And it didn't matter how big or small the cabin was. If you were an owner of the resort, you had an equal share in that resort. Well, you got to understand, at the time, I was teaching at St. Thomas Academy, and I thought I had just struck gold because my salary increased to almost $30,000 when I changed schools and moved to the academy. So I thought, man, I am wealthy, rich. $30,000 was far more than I ever dreamed I'd be making. So when the opportunity arose for me to buy into this partnership called Eagle Bay Lodge, I snapped it up without even thinking. I said, I am in. And before that day was over, I was, at least on paper, the proud owner of a cabin here at Eagle Bay Lodge. And I'm going to show you more about this wonderful place I call my heaven. I love it here. I have spent every summer here, and so have my children and my grandchildren since that day in 1983. This is the place and the lake that I yearn to go to every single spring when the snow melts and the water gets turned on up here, so we have water and heat. I'm up as fast as I can. I have driven to this place every single summer from Tampa, Florida. It's about 2,000-mile drive one way, just a little under that. And I have driven here every summer, sometimes more than once, sometimes 3 times during the summer. So recently I just drove up again. I used to drive up with the kids. They loved the drive, and I taught them how to navigate by giving them a map, a paper map. There wasn't any electronics. There was no geo anything. There was no phones, cell phones, computers. None of that happened then. I gave them a map, and I told them to be the navigator and figure out how to get from Tampa, Florida to this little tiny place in northern Minnesota. So now I'm giving you kind of a circular view of the entire lake. I'm going to head back to the dock, and so that I can show you more of the resort from the land side. But this is the place that I see from the boat, and I spend a lot of time out here. By the way, this is a great fishing lake. Oh my gosh, I'm going to tell you stories of the fish that we've caught here. Well, I've just arrived at the dock, one of 3 main docks that we have here. We actually have about 5. Behind me you see my current boat. This isn't the boat I owned back in 1983. This is a much nicer boat that I actually brought up from Florida, and it works great here. So here we are at Eagle Bay Lodge. I'm going to give you a little tour today and kind of show you what it's like here. Okay, so I'm gonna walk around the resort and kind of talk about it a little bit. Let me do a little scan. I mean, a little scan here and see if I can show you what it looks like. So 1 second. Okay, so I've turned the phone around here so that I'm not in the way of this beautiful scenery here. So now you should be looking at the dock that originally arrived on. We'll go over there in a little bit and just kind of give you a little of the shoreline and some of the cabins. Cabin you should be looking at right now is cabin 16. You really can't see the deck because the tree's in the way, but there's a beautiful deck. So if you want to be close to the water, that's the cabin you want to be in right there. Okay, and you can see some other nice cabins and a playhouse for little children. And oh yeah, there's the main lodge right there. We're going to go up there in a minute and take a look at that. So here we go. We're going to walk around. We have 3 big beaches here. And this is one of the beaches. And we call this the point because it's a rocky point, as you can see. So it's quite a beautiful place. Got a beautiful evening right now, and that's making this even more enjoyable when the weather's nice. It had been a little drizzly earlier today, but now sun has come out, and the lake is beautifully calm. It's kind of evening I absolutely long for most of the time, and we get them quite often in the summer, I will say. Okay, over here is kind of a play area. There's a sand volleyball court there, and we got a basketball court. as you can see right here, the kids love this. And then lots of lounge chairs, canoes, kayaks, paddle boards, you name it. We've got it. We've got boats for rent. Some of the pontoon boats here you see are for rent for people that come here. Now we're going over to what we refer to here as the north end. Again, here, this is the main lodge, and it's got a beautiful play area in there, a game room with pool tables and ping pong tables, and you name it, we got it. It's got a beautiful library and a place to come and eat and talk and visit, and you get ice cream in there if you like. So there's a lot. This is kind of like the main beach right here, and a lot of really nice cabins that are on the lake over here on the north end, very close to the lake. Yeah, you can see it's quite the place. People love to congregate right here and just visit with each other. It's a very beautiful spot. Each one of these cabins has owners that all have become very good friends over the years. We get a lot of ducks and loons. So if you like loons, this is the loon lake of all time. You hear them at night. It's just wonderful. So yeah, this is kind of neat. Here's another close to the water cabin, cabin number 20. If you like to be real close to the water, that's the cabin to be at. The grass is very green right now and just really pretty. There's cabin 21. It's actually one of my favorite cabins. Cabin 21 is a 3-bedroom, and it's got a great deck and a beautiful view of the lake. But you know, that's probably true of all of these cabins on the north end. They all have a wonderful view of the lake, and real close to the water. That's why they bought them. They like being on the water. So this is part of Eagle Bay Lodge. We've only seen so far just a small portion of it, but this is kind of right now the central focal point. I'm going to go over here, show you the swimming pool. Right there in front of you, if you can see that, cabin 14. That's a 5-bedroom, our largest cabin for rent. Next to it is another 5-bedroom cabin, but that one isn't for rent. So if you got a boat, we got everything you need, including gas. Yep, this is it. Okay, here's the swimming pool, and with it is a sauna. People love the sauna and then jump in the water. It's a really nice pool. I was just in it all afternoon, and the water's kept nice and not too warm, not too cool, just perfect, just the way you want it. So, okay, I'm going to get into my golf cart here. Oh, by the way, if you look up there, it looks kind of far away, I'm sure. That's my cabin. Up on the hill, I got a great view of everything. A 2-bedroom. I'm going to pause here and then get in my cart and take you around. All right, so here we are. We're on what's called the south end now of the resort. So a whole set of cabins. You're looking at one of the cabins facing the lake. It's cabin 2. It's a beautiful cabin with huge windows. And just to give you an idea of what we're looking at here, this is one of my favorite places. This is a big, giant green area. We use this for many different things, especially they play soccer. We've played football down here. We have played volleyball, set up volleyball nets. We have done all kinds of activities. I've seen other families doing softball games down here. So here's some of the other cabins up here that are kind of on the hill, but really get with a great view of this beautiful lake. We have another beach here just to show you. Okay, see there's the beach. Probably can't see much of it. It's a smaller beach, but still being used quite And so here we are. There's some of our other cabins on the lake. And we got playground equipment and more kayaks for people to take out. More docks for people to put their boat in if they want and go fishing. I told you fishing's really good here, especially this time of year in the spring. And then so now you get a pretty good view of all the different cabins. Maybe I can zoom in and catch some of the cabins that are behind the trees. Some of those are hard to see from here, but they're gorgeous, gorgeous cabins. Cabins 31 down there is one of the nicest, I think. And then all of these are good. They're all really fantastic cabins. So there's our playground area down there. Took my kids here off when they were little. And then we played sports on this field. It's perfect for it. So there it is. So this is called the South Beach of Eagle Bay Lodge. One of the nice things about this is people love at night to come down and build bonfires. They can do it here. There's another place at the point that I showed you. We have a beautiful place to do a little fire at night. So they love just to sit around and tell stories and laugh and just have a great time in the evening. And oh, my kids, when they were growing up, they would come down here and I'd have to come get them about midnight to bring them home because they didn't want to leave. They were having so much fun. One of the founders of this resort lodge was Ed Kosirik, and this was his cabin. It was kind of like forever the center point of the resort. It's a big cabin. I think it has 5 bedrooms. I could be mistaken there because they had a really big family. Ed's gone now, but his son Patrick is now the owner of that cabin. And they don't rent, so not all the cabins are rented. Most of them are. About 20 do rent, and the others do not. We have 29 cabins total, of which I think about 20 of them are rented out by the week. So you can always come up here and enjoy. Now we're going to go up to see another part of this resort. I won't take you around the entire place because it would just take too much time, but this is our golf course. We have an 18-hole golf course called Eagle View, and it's really, really pretty. So this is the hole number 10, and it's a par 5. So it's probably one of the more challenging holes on the course and one of the more scenic holes. So it's pretty long, and it's gosh, I'm going to say 450 yards maybe. And it's a real sharp dog leg to the right from the tee box. And you got to get up over some big hills. So it's a really fun course. You'd enjoy playing. Anybody can play on it. It's not one of these high-end courses that cost a fortune to play. But at the same time, it's a very nice course and people really enjoy it. I'm sorry if this is bouncing around too much. I'll try to go a little slower because it is bouncy out here. We're out on the course itself. So hopefully nobody will be hitting at us. I don't know. Could happen any minute because you can't see over those hills. So I'm going to kind of do a U-turn here and start to head back towards the cabins. But I just wanted to show you our at least a small piece of our 18-hole golf course. We're very proud of it. It's a beautiful feature. People love to come here just for the golf, and while others come here to fish, and others come here just to be on the lake, water ski, and what other lake activities they enjoy doing. So Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful place. And I hope one day you'll consider coming up here and check it out. Spend a week here. You'd love it. I promise you, you would love it. A little closer view of the playground area for the south end here, and some of the cabins tucked away in the woods there, but still with a great view of the lake. So there they are, all these beautiful cabins. It's really a great place. I used to do football camps down here, believe it or not, many years ago. Another quick view of this Eagle View golf course. It's very hilly. I don't know if you can tell from this view, but it's really a beautiful, gorgeous, but hilly course. So you're going to get a workout, especially if you're walking and pulling your clubs on a cart rather than taking a motorized cart. But we have those as well, so not to worry. One of the cool features about our resort, which is a bit unusual, I will say, we have this absolutely magnificent 18-hole golf course. At least I think it's magnificent. But we also have up here, I'm about to show you, is one of the places that I have many fond memories of for over the last 43 years, especially with my kids and my family. And that is the Eagle Bay Lodge tennis and pickleball courts. So these are them in the woods. Yeah, we have a really cool place for people to come and play either pickleball or tennis. And at the end of this video, I'll show you a few videos of my family playing tennis up here or pickleball, either one. They love both sports. So this is where everybody goes if they're into racket sports. All right, so here we are back at my little 2-bedroom cabin. We have a big porch, which is where we spend most of the time, out on the porch or out on the deck. A porch and a deck. You're looking at the back door right now, not the part facing the lake. So I'll probably take you through the porch and out onto the deck, and then we'll wrap up this show. Okay, welcome to Feely's Nest. This is my heaven on earth right here. I get up in the morning and look out here at the lake and see the sunrise. You should have seen it this morning. I should have taken pictures. It was so glowing. I'm sure it will be tomorrow. Just bright red colors as the sun was coming up and shining off the lake. So again, you're looking at the view that I have from my deck of the lake and of the dock, of the lodge and the swimming pool. I'll zoom in there so you can see. Okay, and so it's kind of a nice central location, and I really enjoy it here. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen to this podcast. And once again, this is Tom's Tall Tales and True Stories. And now, my friends, you know the rest of the story. We'll see you next time.